Igbo, which means Igbos, are mainly found in the eastern part of Nigeria. They are resilient, intelligent, and hardworking people. Igbos are also good business people. In fact, they could make a fortune just by selling physics. Some popular musicians like Flavor and Biggie have advised to desert anywhere Igbos are not found. Ndị Igbo are a people with a rich culture and language. Some jokingly say it's a language spoken in heaven, and those who do not speak the Igbo language may have to use sign language to communicate in heaven, as no other language is understood or spoken of there. One would think that the Igbos will hold such a beautiful language and culture in high esteem, so high that people of other language and culture will give an arm only to speak there as a Igbo. But no, that is not the case. Truly, most Igbos are so ashamed of the language that they have abandoned even beautiful Igbo names for names like Cindy John, Sienna Edward, just so they could take up a foreign identity while abandoning their true identity. Unfortunately, one would think that the language is a cause of world hunger, or that which will cause the world to war again the third time. But even more unfortunately, it's not the case. Did I hear you ask how? Well, let me tell you how, and even why it's not a curse to speak Igbo language. Once upon a time in the 90s, in Queen's College located in one of the Igbo-speaking states in the east of Nigeria, there was a girl, an Indian, who opted to write Igbo language during a WAEC examination. For those who do not know WAEC, it is the West African examination. It's a sort of a promotion examination that ushers you into a tertiary institution. But that's if JAMB and others let you. So, this girl, an Indian, floored the native speakers when the results came out, as other Igbo language native speakers underperformed and of course came right behind her. My dear friends, there are rampant cases where parents prefer to speak to their children in English and to their spouse, Igbo language or Igbo. Many have argued that Igbo language does not in any capacity put food on the table, while others insist it's not just the Igbos, but other Africans too. Maybe it's not just the Igbos, but then do permit me to try to compare later the use of Igbo language and other languages by looking at how people of different tribes and languages greet each other in the morning. Remember, English say good morning. Remember the Igbo adage that says, Onye kpọọ ọbọ ya okpokoro, agbata obi ya ewere ya kpọọ ntụ. This translates to, if you disregard your plate, your neighbor will scoop ashes with it. Well, that is the closest equivalent of that adage I can think of right now. Maybe there are reasons some had to go as far as changing their names and others trying to be more English than the English. Some may say it's because of the genocide they suffered and because they do not want to be victimized. Well, that is a story for another day. Could you please now take a walk with me as we watch some tribes and languages in Nigeria greet each other in the morning?
My tribe is Ekwara.
So how do you say good morning in your language?
said Oma
Oma.
means good morning.
Good morning in your dialect.
In the dialect, you say Naibia.
Naibia.
Somebody will not answer you, oh, kwa.
Oh.
For Idoma, we say Umachi.
How do you say good morning in your dialect?
Our good morning is animal.
Animo.
Interestingly, we have seen how others, against all odds, have kept their culture by conserving their original way of greeting in the morning. And one important thing to note is probably how these languages ask rhetorical questions instead of wishing good morning as the colonizers do. Reflecting on this, one comes to realize how disgusting, demeaning, and even shameful it is to abandon one's original and traditional way of greeting and then invent one synthetic way of greeting just in the bid to copy the white man. This act of translating good morning to Igbo language really robs of the African and Igbo cultural element, which the original Igbo greetings, Isalachi or Ibolachi, carry. To invent this synthetic word, Otutuoma, and also greet using the same, is indeed a show of ignorance, and even more, a display of what some psychiatrists and psychologists call inferiority complex. According to the Kenyan scholar Professor Ngugi, we must reconnect with the buried alluvium of African memory on the continent and in the world. This can only result in the empowerment of African languages and cultures and make them pillars of a more self-confident Africa, ready to engage the world through give and take, but from its base in African memory. He, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, argues that discussing important issues with one's indigenous language can only boost confidence, and confident Africans can only come up with worthwhile ideas to change their present state for better. Join us again next time as we highlight ways not only Igbos but other Africans have consciously and not abandoned their cultural heritage. While we wait, always remember that no cultural tradition is inferior to another. Also remember, a thinking Africa is a progressive Africa.